And hello, hello, hello. Good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm so glad you're here. It's work time with Dr. Woode, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. We are in our series, y'all. I'm excited. I'm excited. So I know Thanksgiving just happened, right? Everybody's still probably celebrating or getting back to getting back, right? So we are still stuffed with turkey and dressing and sweet potato pie and apple pie and peach cobbler and all the things that you may have had over the course of your holiday weekend. But it is Monday and we are back, y'all. We're back. And right now we are in our series. We're continuing in our series, Q4 winning moves. Q4 winning moves. That is, behaviors to help you succeed in Q4, the fourth quarter. You know, as we move through the year, there are so many things that happen. And you may be in one of several categories. Number one, you may be that person that hit the ground running, right? So in January 1 of 2023, you took off and you have been hitting it. You've been driving. You have been in the grind, as they say. You've been doing your thing. You've been having some successes. And as we get down to this last few months, these last few weeks, you're starting to say, oh man, okay, I can take a break. Whew, this has been one of them years. You've had successes, but you're like tired. I'm gonna take a break. Or you may be somebody who there are so many things that you plan to do in January of 2023. And over the course of the year, something happened, right? So you got sidetracked. You hit a bump. You hit some obstacle. And so those things that you started out doing, they kind of fell by the wayside. And so now they're just kind of hanging out and you're saying, you know what, in 2024, I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to start going. Or there were some things that you started saying you were going to do, but never happened. They're sitting on the shelf collecting dust. I want to convince you, for whatever category you're in, that you can still have success in this year, in this quarter, in Q4. And that's what this has been all about. How do we set ourselves up for success? What are some of those strategies for navigating this year-end sprint to success? Q4, right? So we've been doing that series, and we are in, this is episode number 31, y'all. Can you believe it? Episode 31 in this series that we have been doing, Q4 winning moves, and just so happy that you're here. I hope you have your work with you. I hope you got some things that you can work on as we talk, as we go through the evening, because we've set aside some dedicated time where you can come aside, where I can come aside. And that's what I'm doing, right? So I'm working on time blocking, right? You guys remember time blocking? That is on your calendar, putting time aside for specific things that you have to do. I'm using this as my work time, my workspace. Every night I try to set an hour aside other than the things that I do, because you guys know I do a show at 7 o'clock every Monday. I've got a couple of mastermind groups that I meet with. I've got some things I do at church. But every night I try to set aside time so that I can come aside and do things that I need to do to succeed. Because if we don't do that, if we don't have time on our calendar, that's our work time, to do some of the things we need to do to be successful in whatever endeavor, guess what? The time goes away and all of a sudden we find ourselves without that success. And so in this series, right, Q4 winning moves, what are the behaviors that we need to help us succeed in Q4? And specifically, what are some strategies? That's what we've been talking about. What are some strategies that we need to navigate this year-end sprint to success, right? So glad you're here. Hope you brought your work. We've been having a great time, and tonight is going to be no different than that. And I see a guest here, a friend of ours, Mr. Riley. What's good? He said, Dr. Woode, I'm back working and listening. That's right, man. That's right. We got to do it. We got to do it. So let's. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. So let's hop over and let's talk about what we've been doing, right? So we have been spending time over the last several weeks, last several episodes, let me say that, talking about getting back on track. Have you been in that space before where you're going along and you might be doing a good clip, right? You're hitting it And then all of a sudden, something happens, right? So it's kind of, let me give you an example. Okay, I'm going to tell myself. So I had this personal trainer. And this friend of mine, we lived in Birmingham years ago. And so we would get up, we'd go to the gym in the morning. It was me, this gal, a friend of ours, and our personal trainer. So the two of us, we're going with this guy. And so one morning, it was cold, y'all. When I say cold, it was cold. Now, I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, and I know cold. And I lived in Ohio, so I know cold. But this morning in Birmingham, it was freezing. I mean, there was ice on the ground. And so I picked up the phone one morning and I called and I said, hey, man, it's iced out there. Let's not go today. Yeah. You guys see where this is going, right? And so do you know that for months and months, we never went back? We fell off, right? So something happened that impacted us. And you may be out there and you're doing some stuff. Maybe you have a YouTube channel. Maybe you have a book that you've been writing. Maybe you have a business that you've been trying to grow. Maybe you have a relationship you've been trying to work on. You've been trying to lose weight. You've been trying to improve your health. And you hit a snag. Something didn't quite go the way you thought it was going to go. Or you said something happened in your life and you said, hey, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. And you fell off track. And often when that happens, what we see is that people take a long time to get off track for lots of different reasons. And we've talked about some of those reasons why people fall off track, but we've been talking about how do we get back on track. And what we've talked about so far is really recognizing when you've gotten off track, right? That's the first thing. How do you know that you've gotten off track? Because you got to have those signs. You got to have those stop signs. You got to have those guardrails, right? And then understanding why you got off track. We did a show on that. Go back if you haven't done that. Look at that show as well. And then strategies to get back on track. Yeah, we talked about that. These last two, we've been talking about staying motivated and building habits. So the last time we were together, we talked about the first part of that, staying motivated, right? So that was the previous show. And now we're going to talk about building those routines. So this is part 2. It says part 1, but it should be part 2 on how do we get back on track. And specifically tonight, we're talking about how do we build routines, all right? And so this is where we're heading. This is where we're heading, y'all, right? So we're heading in this direction. One, we want to set clear goals. We're going to be consistent in our routine. We want to set up cue identifications. We want to immediately reward ourselves. We want to start small incremental steps. We want to be mindful in our monitoring, and we want to have some flexibility and adaptability. So let's walk through those. Let's walk through those together. Okay. So number one, clear goals. Clear goals. And we've talked about setting clear goals, right? Where does that come from? Where do those clear goals come from? Right? Remember, that is our what? That is our SMART goal. That's our SMART goal. So SMART, right? We want it to be what? You guys remember? Right. So if you haven't done so, go back and watch that show. So specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound. Right. So we want, as we are looking at all the things we want to do, if you're in business right now, right, a lot of times Q4 is when everybody's hitting it. Right? We may not have met those benchmarks that we had. If you're in education, I know somebody out there who's in education, right? And there's some things in your classroom that, right now you're supposed to be doing. And as we get to the end of the quarter, hey, what do we need to do to catch up? Or you have been working in the gym. You've been with a personal trainer. You have a book and you're like, okay, I'm going to finish this by the end of the year, right? Right now, right? That was a large aspiration that you have. You sat down and you broke it up into smaller chunks. Remember, we talked about chunking. And you have the tasks that are in the chunks that you need. And you took those tasks and you set goals, right? You came up with those SMART goals, right? So you want to define specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound. Because if you don't have those clear demarcations, then it's very hard to develop a routine. Remember, that's what we're talking about. How do we develop routines as we talk about getting back on track? So knowing exactly what you want to accomplish, what you want to achieve, helps in what? Directing your efforts and helping you to track your progress. So you got to have those clear, you want to have those clear goals. And then what we want to do, we want to have consistent routine. Now, I can't tell you the number of times that I have had some things in my life, some project, some goals that I have, and it was going fairly well because I was doing it. I was motivated. I got up and I do the things. But because I didn't have a routine, it wasn't consistent, then it kind of fell away. I forgot to do one thing here. I forgot to do one thing there. Oh, now I got to go back and correct that thing. And after a while, because it wasn't a consistent routine, I wasn't doing the same thing, I wasn't going through the same thing, then it kind of fell apart. But when we have routines, those routines help to trigger us, right? And they help to establish those habits. So consistency is key in habit forming, and because it reinforces what we need to do. Those neural pathways we talked about before about plasticity, right? Those connections that our brain makes, those neurons, right? When we're being consistent, right? The neural pathways are associated with the habit. And so we don't have to spend as much time doing it because it now becomes almost automatic. Mr. Riley says, let's see, what does he say? He says, yeah, my classroom is in need of help, but I took a step toward to fix it today to fix that. I love it. Okay. All right. So consistency in our, is very important. Okay. Consistency. And then after we talk about consistency, cue identification. What does that mean? So we want to identify and utilize cues that trigger the habit. Have you ever gotten in your car and you're going to work or you're going to school or you're going somewhere, wherever you're going, you got in your car and you started the car and the next thing you knew, you were at the location, you were at the place. You don't even remember how you got there. Because once you got in the car, in your mind, you knew where you were going. You got in the car. Once you got in the car, it was automatic because that trigger took you down that path. This is so important. This is so impressive to me, right? And so I was going to say important, but it amazes me sometimes that if we begin building routines, it's kind of like, okay, here's one, right? So don't do this, right? But have you ever been to a place where people have walked through the lawn, right? You went to some location and people have worn a path through the lawn, right? Can you imagine if you took a ball, like a basketball, and you dropped it on that lawn? What do you think would happen? It would fall into that groove and it would roll all the way down. And that's the same thing that happens when we have those cues, right? Once we hit the cue, we automatically go. Sometimes what happens is because we don't have routine, the things that we want to do become almost daunting to us, right? But cues can be a specific time of day. They can be a particular location. They can be a predetermined event, or it can even be an emotional state, right? So cues. We're setting up cues. We're establishing things. One of the things that I learned to do, and I talk to my son about this sometimes, is when studying, go to the same place. For me right now, when I'm creating, when I am doing things for this space, I have, like right now, I'm setting up this time blocking, right? So everybody in the family knows, okay, hey, this is Daddy's time. This is Dwain's time. He's getting ready to go in there, right? The door's going to be closed. I may have some music playing, right? I got my lights on. Right. So I'm setting the tone. I'm setting the mood. So the cues are here for me. And so I get into that space. I get into that zone, right? So cue identification. And then we want to reward ourselves. Now, I'm not talking about going buck wild, right? But we want to identify and utilize. We want to incorporate. We want to incorporate immediate rewards into the habits that we set up. Think about this. If you're writing a book, and I know I keep talking about the book because I want everybody out there. Everybody has a book in them, by the way. You think you're writing a book. If you waited until the book was completed, like done and published, for you to have some rewards, right? That would be horrific, right? Because part of the rewards, it helps to motivate you, right? When you see that you've hit a milestone that you set up and you can reward yourself, you've established what reward goes with that, you're like, oh man, I hit that. Let me get to the next one, right? So the rewards reinforce the behavior and they make it more likely that the habit will stick. Right? So along the way, as you're setting up those SMART goals, you want to set places where you hit a benchmark and that benchmark triggers a reward and that reward motivates you to continue the next one. This is why one of the things, and I'm going to tell you one of the secrets, right? One of my secrets. So I have patients who come into the office and they may come to me for diabetes. And let's take that as an example because we see a lot of folks with diabetes. And they may have had a poor history of control, right? So when they show up to me, sometimes it's because they have not had control. And the statistics say that for every year that a person doesn't get control of their diabetes, the likelihood that they get control decreases. Because you can think about this, right? So you're at your doctor's office and you and your doctor, you've been doing a bunch of stuff trying to get control of your blood sugar. And you have not been able to do it. And so the doctor says to you, hey, you know what? We've not been able to do it. Let me send you over to Dr. Woode because he's the endocrinologist. And you walk into my office. If it takes me a year or more to control your blood sugar, your motivation to get control goes down because you say, wait a minute, not even the specialist, not even the diabetes doctor can get control from my blood sugar. So it goes down. So my first job when people show up in my office is to get them success. Because if I can get them some success, then they now realize that they can do this. Right? So that reward that they see, immediate feedback, right? So we see people, we bring them back to the office in 2 weeks. It's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. These are some changes that we do. We put them, we get them to see education, right? We put a continuous monitor on this so they can see what their blood sugars are, right? We do some adjustments to their medication. We talk to them. We do some education, right? Because that's education, empowerment, and encouragement. We give them some education and we send them off and say, okay, this is what you need to do. And when you come back, hey, we're looking at this monitor. And when they see that they've had some success, now they're motivated to go back and say, hey, man, we did a good job these last 2 weeks. Let me keep doing that. But if I don't see them back for 3 months, guess what? They may have been motivated when I first saw them, that first day, the second day, third day, maybe a week, 2 weeks. But by 3 months, I mean, I've got to start all over, right? So get yourself some rewards, immediate rewards. And the next thing is we want to make sure that we are mindful that this is an incremental issue. We're not biting off the whole thing, right? We're taking small, chewable bites. That's why we talk about chunking, right? Taking the big goal and breaking it into smaller goals, right? So start with small, manageable steps and gradually build up. This approach helps in what? Avoiding overwhelm. Because when it looks so big, you think, oh my God, I've got to open 3 stores. Or if you're a realtor, oh, I got to sell 10, 15, 20 houses, right? That may be a daunting thought. You say, hey, I have to show 5 houses this week. I mean, I'm just using that because I'm not a realtor. I don't know how many you have to show. I think they say you have to show, is it whatever your close rate is? I think you have to figure that out. Whatever your closure rate is. Right? So if you are 20%, then you got to show 100 houses to get 20, right? Whatever the math is. But yeah, so we don't want to say bite off those big chunks. Right? Take small steps in forming this habit. You've been doing things the way you've been doing it for how many years now? However old you are. So you can't expect for tomorrow for things to change. We're developing these habits at a small steps at a time. And if you do that, if you're consistent, then things work out the way we intend and the way we want. Okay. And I forgot to say, if you look at the bottom of each of these slides, you'll see that theme that we've been doing here about getting back on track. The journey back to one's desired path is as important as the destination itself. Right? So we're heading somewhere. There's a project that we are going to successfully do. There is a business that we're launching. We've got these benchmarks that we have. We've got these goals that we have for the end of the year. That's the destination. Okay? But if we're off track, the process of getting back on track is just as important as where we're heading. Because if we don't get back on track, guess what? We're not getting there. We're not reaching that goal. Okay? So small steps. And then we want to be mindful, right, in our monitoring. We want to have mindful monitoring. So keep track of your progress. Let me say this. Anything that you want to change, you got to keep track of it. Right? If you're trying to change your weight, you got to keep track of it. If you're trying to improve your blood sugars, you got to keep track of it. If you're trying to repair a relationship, you got to keep track of it. So monitoring, helps in maintaining accountability, and it provides motivation through visible progress. So you see it. Right, going back to what we just talked about, the rewards, you see it, and you can track that and say, hey, look at that. Last week, this is where I am. This is where I was. If you've been following me on social media, you see that I've been posting about my walking in the morning. Okay, so I've got a little app, and on the app, it tracks what I've been doing. And when I see that on the thing right there, it's like, yeah, look at this. You know, look at what I did. Oh, yesterday I did this. Today I did this. Right? So it is a mindful monitoring that I'm keeping track of. Right? So you want to monitor things. And then you have to be flexible and you have to be adaptable. If you are too rigid, you will break. If you're too rigid, you'll be overwhelmed. If you're too rigid, then things don't work out. Things are going to change. You can have the best plan, and something's going to happen that requires you to be flexible. I want you to think about a tree, right? Those trees, sometimes the ones that are strong, they're straight, they're tough. Sometimes they fall over before the trees that are flexible. Be prepared to adjust your habits as needed. So it's not all going to always be perfect. We're developing these habits. Be flexible. Flexibility allows you to adapt and to changing circumstances, right? Or to refine your habits based on what is what is or isn't working. What is or what isn't working. Okay? Be flexible. Be adaptable. Everybody's using the word pivot. Be able to pivot. You got to be resilient. Okay, so that's another component of this. Right? Be flexible. And if you integrate these essentials into your approach, right, this can significantly embrace your ability to develop and maintain new habits, leading to lasting changes and improvements in various aspects of your life. Right? So integrating these essentials into your approach can significantly enhance your ability to develop and maintain new habits, leading to lasting changes and improvements in various aspects of your life. Now, one of the things that I said earlier, we did a show, my show at 7 o'clock, is that a lot of the things that we learn are applicable across various modalities of our life. Show me someone who's not being successful in several parts of their life, and we can teach them a single thing that's applicable in multiple domains. One of the things I do when I do my coaching is I have people go through this wheel of life. You may have heard me talk about this before. The wheel of life is, and the concept with the wheel of life is, one of my philosophies is that we cannot live a fulfilling, successful life if we're not living centered lives. Let me say that again. We cannot live fulfilling, successful lives if we're not living from the center. And so one of the first things that I do is we go through this exercise called the Wheel of Life to figure out where are those places where we might be off balanced, and how do we fix that? And you'll be surprised that as we go through those various domains, right? Social, financial, relational, spiritual, professional, right? So we go through that list, and that's not an exhaustive list. And we begin identifying small items in each of those domains. We can apply them across the board, and things are amazing. All right, so how do we get back on track? That's where we are right now. And in our next episode, we're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles as we continue our Q4 winning moves, behaviors to help succeed in Q4, and then specifically talking about strategies for navigating the year-end sprint to success. All right. So now it's our work time, y'all. I hope you brought some work to do, because I've got some things I'm going to be working on. So we're going to mute. We're going to give you some music in the background, and we're going to start working. And then we'll come back. We'll chat a little bit. If you are watching this on the replay, right, I want you to put hashtag replay in the comments. But don't think just because you're not here with me live that you can't be working as well, right? So go ahead on your schedule. As I've said, block off the time, right? We try to do about 45 minutes to an hour, okay? Block off the time, play the video, listen to the first part that we just did, right? That's the teaching part. And then you can go ahead and let it run, or you can mute it, and then you can start working, okay? So this is dedicated time, y'all. Use this as a structure for your routine, right? This may be a great place to do your routine, right? Say, hey, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at these. I'm going to hit them. So far we've done 31 episodes, right? This is the 31st episode, right? We're going through the end of December, right? So Monday through Thursday, we're here. So you have ample resources that you can do. And I'm hoping that as you do this with me, right, that you are developing the habit for yourself of blocking off time. Okay. So work time is about 30 minutes, right? Work time is about 30 minutes. I see that. And this is with the Pomodoro. So work 25 minutes and take 5-minute break. Typically we work 15 minutes and take a couple of breaks while we talk, and then we come back. All right. So we go there. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get to it, y'all. I hope that you hopefully and Mr. Riley, you're out there. Please, if because I'm looking at my restream and it looks like it's stuck, right? But I'm hoping that I'm still moving and talking. You can still hear me. So just if you can, just say yes. That'll tell me everything is okay. I'm not sure what's going on over there. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let me get you behind the scenes, and then we will get some work done. Okay. So this is where we going, y'all. Here we are. All right, I see you said YouTube is fine. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's get back over here. Let's get my stuff up. Q4 winning moves, y'all. Here we go.
Take a real close look now. Soon you'll realize you don't know what's coming down. I got you hypnotized. Take a real close look now. I'm gonna show you how. I'm about to get down. So keep it up right now. So keep it up. So keep it up with me. I need to move. I need to feel the beat. Don't be a fool. You wanna hang with me. Life isn't easy. You gotta roll the dice. You wanna change. Join the paradise. So bring it on if you wanna hang with me. Alright. You know I know we kick it like no one else. We kick it like no one else. Listen out, there ain't nothing like this. You know I know we kick it like no one else. We kick it like no one else. Listen out, there ain't nothing like this. Take a real close look now. Baby, I'm versatile. Watch me when I come down. I make it worth the while. Take a real close look now. I'm gonna show you how. I'm about to get down. So keep it up now. So keep it up. So keep it up with me. I need to move. I need to feel the beat. Don't be a fool. You wanna hang with me. Life isn't easy. You gotta roll the dice. You wanna change. Join the paradise. So bring it on if you wanna hang with me. You know I know we kick it like no one else. We kick it like no one else. Listen now, there ain't nothing like this. You know I know we kick it like no one else. We kick it like no one else. Listen now, there ain't nothing like this. You know I know we kick it like no one else. We kick it like no one else. Listen now, there ain't nothing like this. You know I know we kick it like no one else. We kick it like no one else. Listen now, there ain't nothing like this. Ooh, I know, you know, we kick it like no one else.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go. a cliche. We're on the run. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free.
All right, all right. I hope you are getting some work done out there. Um, I'm getting some stuff done. I have a blog that I do that comes out on Fridays. And as you guys know, my schedule, I'm working on that. So I do my show on Monday. I do a shorter version of that on Tuesday. I put shorts about that out on Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, my podcast comes out and my blog comes out on Friday. So that's kind of my routine for the month. I mean, for the week. And so I've been working on the blog that's associated with some of the things that we do in this space. So hopefully you're having a good time out there. You got some stuff, you're getting some stuff done. We're going to play some more music and then we'll be back. And, if you're out there, drop in the comments what you're working on. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see. Nice routine. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Glad you're out there. And hopefully you're getting some stuff done as well as we work together. Always good to have folks around, motivates you. All right.
about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free.
All right, y'all. And just like that, we are at the end of our work time with Dr. Woode, y'all. So excited that you're out there. So excited that you are working to be successful in Q4, right? So Q4 winning moves is what we've been talking about for the last 31 episodes now, right? So another episode in the books. Behaviors to help us succeed in Q4. And specifically, we're talking about what are some of those things that we need to put in place? What are those strategies that we need to put in place so that we can navigate this sprint that we are doing, this year-end sprint to the end of the year so that we can be successful? And I want you to be successful. I want you to be successful. Remember, our success for this year, can still happen. You still have time during this quarter. You still have time. We've got about 5-ish weeks, right? So 6 weeks, actually. I keep saying 5 or 6, one of those. Anyway, so we got a short time, but you have some time that you can put in. You can dig in. Now, you know, I'm actually going to talk to Mr. Riley. I'm going to be out in your area coming up here in a little while. But basketball. Love basketball. My son loves basketball. So we are on a trek. We are on a trek to see every team, y'all, play at home before he gets to college. That's our trek. We started that last year. And when we were at, who were we watching? We went to see the Bulls play a preseason game just a couple months ago, actually a couple weeks ago. and we were up in Chicago, and we went into triple overtime, y'all. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that game, but it was amazing. It was amazing to watch because those guys, even though it's coming down to that fourth quarter, they weren't giving up. You know what I'm saying? They were digging in. They held on, y'all. They held on and they held on. And so we went into overtime and then overtime and overtime, right? So it was amazing. And that's what I'm saying to you. There are things that are going on right now that you may think, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to succeed at this, but you can succeed. The things that we're talking about, establishing routines, setting smart goals, blocking time so that you are putting in the time so that you need to be successful. All of these things that we're working on, this is not just happenstance. This is stuff. These are techniques. These are strategies. These are behaviors that we're putting in place to be successful. And as we get to the end of this year, right, we're starting now to plan for next year. So not only can we be successful this year, but we can set ourselves up for success in the new year, right? So once we get these habits and these behaviors in place, these routines and these techniques, hey, the sky's the limit, right? You can achieve, you can do whatever you want. You can apply it in any aspect of your life. And that's what I want you to know, that it is not too late in Q4 to be successful this year and to set yourself up to be successful next year. All right. If you've not already done so, please make sure you get out to our website, to our YouTube channel. All the videos that we've been doing, the live videos, the shorts are out there. This month we've been talking about not just this series, Q4 Winning Moves. We've also been talking about the war for your health, and specifically this month we've been talking about diabetes, right? So this month is diabetes awareness. The show that we did tonight was all about insulin treatment. We did shows on diabetes medications, insulin, the top 5 questions you need to ask about diabetes. And that is in a longer series that's also going to the end of the year. That is, the war for your health. Excuse me, guys. That is the war for your health, the war for your health. We did a couple weeks ago, the subsection that we did was dealing with the book that I wrote, The 7 Keys to Success. You can get your free copy of that by going to the website and using the book along with the videos, right? So we went through each of those chapters, right? Remember we did 8 shows on that. Went through each of those chapters and it's steps successful leaders use to create the life they want, right? So you can use that, download your free copy. So even if you weren't with us, on the live, you can go back and watch those and then, of course, put hashtag replay. The newest offering in our series, in our offerings, is the course that we've done called Unmasking the Sweet Truth About Sugar. You cannot talk about chronic disease without talking about sugar. So it's an online self-paced course that you could sign up for. If you go there and you use Black Friday, right? So even though Black Friday is gone, use that coupon code, you'll get a discount on that. If you want to work with me more personally, right? You need someone to come alongside you and to help you get unstuck. You need somebody to be in your corner more than we are doing here in this space. You can do that by going to the website, our Next Level Coaching Program. I would love to come alongside and be part of your community on a more intimate level so that we can get you unstuck and get you moving from where you are. And then, of course, on our website, you can sign up for our mailing list and get to our blog. And then, of course, get to our podcast. For people who are not on YouTube, they can get to that podcast, Do You Know, with Dr. Dwain Woode, right? So make sure there's so many things out there that you can be a part of and make use. So make sure that you get out there, please, and let us know if you do see us out in the social space, right? Don't just ignore us. Say hello. Drop a line. And you should see coming up on the screen there in just a minute. This is our you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on TikTok. all the different places. Dwain Woode MD is our handle. Dwain Woode MD. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. We even right now streaming on Twitch. So even if you're over there, you can see us as well. And make sure you say hello to us. Mr. Riley, man, welcome. Thanks that you were here. He said, welcome to the West Side. Let me know when for sure. Well, let me get this one down so I can put your comments up. Okay. I will definitely let you know when I'm out that way, man. I would love to, if we can, connect somehow. Okay. And for all of you, we will be back tomorrow night. And remember, we do this section Monday through Thursday. And then, of course, our show Monday nights at 7:30 Central. We are still continuing our series, The War for Your Health. Diabetes and Awareness Month is ending, but we still continue that trek because a part of, and let me say this, and you hear me say it over and over, the two things that we have, the most valuable things that we have are our time and our health. Right, we want to maximize our time, use it as efficiently as we can, and we want to take care of our health. Because if you don't have time, right, health doesn't matter. And if you don't have all the things together, remember we're talking about living from the center. We want to make sure that we're taking care of time and we're managing our health. Awesome. All right, man. So thank you. He said, love the scenes too. Appreciate it. Love that. Thank you and for being here. And we will see you in the social space. We will see you back tomorrow night for work. Make sure you bring your stuff with you. And if we don't see you over the course of this week, we will see you next week at our show. But we look forward to hanging out with you in this space. Thank you for being here. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Woode with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level, creating the life you've always wanted. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself. We'll see you again.